Hey, joining us on the Marr Army Rock Show tonight, we've got the guys from Ashes to Embers, a great band out of Baltimore. Guys, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey.
How you doing?
So who's with us tonight? Introduce yourselves for our listeners and let us know who's joining us on the air tonight.
I'm Adam. I play guitar in the band.
I'm Dan. I sing in the band. I'm Dave. I play the bass.
Hey, it's good to hear you guys again, man, and we haven't seen you in a while, and I know you got a lot of cool stuff coming up, so let's kind of start with, I guess the first big news here is the new single, which I just listened to today for the first time. Great job on this, guys. The single's called Pins and Needles, so tell us a little bit about it, how it's going, when it's going to be released. Give us the lowdown on Pins and Needles.
Pins and Needles is a newer tune. We've been playing it for a little bit. We kind of put this song out as our first really take on our self-production, like we started recording our own band. So a big shout-out and a big recognition to our guitar player, Mike, who's not here tonight, who has been laboring over that song for a good while. Like if you like what you hear, like that's a lot of work on his part. And, it's one thing to write a song, but then actually try to make the sound correct for what we sound like as a group. It's kind of neat. Pins and Needles is a song that's it's about what it is to kind of be a musician and kind of put everything into it. You take everything you have and you kind of build into this thing, and you never really know if it's going anywhere, but it's important to you, so you just continue to do it. And a lot of people can kind of relate with the idea that you can, do a great job at work and maybe your boss doesn't really recognize it or anything like that. And sometimes you just want that feedback. You want to hear, like as a musician in the scene, sometimes there's so many bands you feel lost at times. But this song is just kind of about wanting people to, you want to hear the crowd just roar one time. You want to see someone come up to you after a show and say, hey man, that song was, great, and I appreciated it. So that's kind of what the song is about. Now Adam can tell you a little bit about the release.
Yeah, I was going to say, the song's coming off our new EP. So the release is called I Will Not Go Quietly. The release date for it is May 31st at the Circuit in Essex. We're going to be playing with Carbon Stone and Anoxia.
And they're actually going to be it's going to be like a big deal. The Circuit is talking about making this like a whole day of music, and they're talking about setting up like some outside stages, and they're planning to have their kitchen open at this time, so they're kind of planning to make this a big deal. And, we're hoping to, add into that by releasing our new CD that day.
Well, two other great bands you listed there, Carbon Stone and Anoxia, both bands we're big fans of here at the show. And that's May 31st, and that's down in Essex at, what's the name of the venue again?
The Circuit.
And that is the Circuit down in Essex. So, look, we haven't seen you guys in a while. Talk a little bit more about the I Will Not Go Quietly, the fact that it's a part one and a part two. So have you already written part two, or what's the story behind that?
We like the idea of, we're writing music like all the time, so we'd like to get some fresh music out every once in a while. So we write like 4 or 5 tracks that we're really happy about and we're really excited to get out. But then if we're trying to do like a full length, like a 10-track or 12-track album, in the meantime, we'll write like another 4 or 5 songs. So we want to try and get things out as fast as we can. So that was the reason behind, more of the reason behind the 2-part, because it'll put music out quicker to fans and people want to hear music from us. And we just thought it'd be a cool idea to just kind of make it into like a 2-part album instead of doing like a full 12-track album, so we can get the music out faster to the public.
Now I want to get back to the idea. You talked a little bit earlier about the idea of being self-produced, and I suppose there would be some advantages and disadvantages to being self-produced. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, the advantages of it are the only time constraint we have is whatever we put on ourselves. We're not paying for studio time, so we can really take our time and sit down and go over, comb through everything that we've got, really get the mixes perfected to how we like it to sound, without having to worry about booking a show or doing something to come up with more money to book more studio time. I know, we've worked at we worked at one studio for both of the previous releases, picked up a lot of great things there, but in some ways felt a little bit limited with what we were able to do because of the cost of studio time. And this frees it up for us a little bit more, and we can play around with stuff, add things in, take things out.
Allows us to be much more creative. Like if we don't like something or we just want to try something, again, we're not on that time constraint or that our money's going to run out or the fare keeps kicking up. So we can just try different things, and allows us to be a little bit more creative.
There's actually a dubstep remix
Yeah.
of Pins and Needles and Words.
And if we don't like it, we can just hit delete.
It's hard to picture you guys doing the country acoustic version of your tunes. You guys got some heavier tunes there. Hey, speaking of your tunes and some of the heavier ones, I've been playing, and I don't know if you even noticed, a couple of times, a number of times, I've played Ill Will on our show and gotten some good response to it. Talk a little bit about that tune. It's kind of one of my favorite tunes you guys have done.
That song it's a very neat song. If you catch me on the right day, I can be really wily individual, I guess. That is a song I wrote. It's kind of the Bugs Bunny kind of deal where he's like, the guy's trying to chase him down, and instead of like hitting him back, he like runs around in a circle and kisses him on the cheek. And that's kind of the idea in the song is, feed me all your negativity, and it's like I'm taking that and it's fueling me. I enjoy it. When you get in a really nasty rivalry with somebody, once in a while, seeing them in a terrible mood actually puts you in a pretty great mood. I think everybody's had someone like that. Mm-hmm. And if you can turn a negative into a positive, it's usually the best way. And that's pretty much what that tune is about. I think when we wrote that, a lot of us were kind of listening to some of the same stuff. I don't know if it's any exact thing specifically. A lot of our band listens to a lot of like Alter Bridge, and Adam and I and Fred are actually pretty big in the band 10 Years.
Yeah.
They all had like some newer stuff right around then, and like we were just so in the same pocket. I don't necessarily think the song is derivative, but there's definitely some shared influence.
Oh yeah.
When we wrote that song, it was just like, we were just all on the same page when we wrote that.
Being the, I guess the resident metalhead in the band, listening to like Mudvayne and Slipknot and like songs like that and Pins and Needles, I really dig to see in the set list because I love the heavy hitting songs that we have, like Ill Will, and, like I mentioned, Pins and Needles. So it's really cool when I get to play those on stage and get to hear you guys spin it. It's awesome.
I just thought it was the perfect tune to melt faces to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that intro with the drums right into that main riff. It just boom, kicks the doors off of anything you play.
Yeah, fun fact about that. The first time we played that, we debuted that live at Noise in the Basement, the first time we played it. Or it might have been a show we played at Baltimore Soundstage when Noise was there. But anyway, played it live. It was the first song in the set. It's a very intense song to come out to. The sound was so loud, I actually couldn't hear for the first 4 bars of the song. And I couldn't find pitch to start the song until like 2 seconds before I had to come in. And I was like, I don't know if I can sing right now. There's that kind of moment where like my whole head was rattling because I wear in-ear monitors.
Yeah. So
it's just boom. And anyone who knows the song knows that shadum, boom, and that big C comes in. And it was, that was an interesting experience.
Now, hearing you talk about the Bugs Bunny imagery, I've got the idea for a music video to that song floating around in my head, but segue into my next question. Do you guys have a song picked out that you might want to do a video for out of your new album, I Will Not Go Quietly yet, or have you talked about that at all?
We've briefly discussed it. Our drummer Fred is very much into film, and he's very interested in producing it. And if we're going to self-record, we may attempt doing a video that way. I don't know if we necessarily have something concrete that I could announce. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a video for the song "The Dream" that will be on "I Will Not Go Quietly." I don't want to speak for anybody.
Yeah, that's okay. We're not going to shine the bright light on you there, but just.
I mean, I do have 2 parts of the lyrics from "The Dream" tattooed on my body, so I will speak to that, saying that song's probably going to be around a while.
And maybe in a Bugs Bunny appearance, maybe not on that one, but we'll have to hold our breath and see what goes on with that one.
Be with him, or a cartoon caricature of K-Rock.
That's the best kind. So as summer approaches us here, so what's your guys' plans for the spring and the summer? Are you going to be doing more? Are you going to be finishing part 2 of that album? Are you going to be touring or playing live, or what do you guys got up your sleeve here?
We're always kind of trying to evolve the stage show. We have toyed with the idea of bringing in more covers into the set and starting to do some more bar shows, kind of like a residency style, where we could play every few weeks at the same place and maybe build in some more like longer sets, because we actually enjoy quite a bit. We enjoy making things a little longer and taking our time with things. Like, we have songs that we cannot play to length because of how long they are at times. And when you have a longer set like that, like a longer night, you can play like the whole night, like bring in an acoustic opener, or just play the whole night. You know, there are a few bands in our position that actually have 40 or 50 songs, but we do. And, you know, when we can bring people out, and it makes it cheaper for them if we can produce our own sound, which we can, especially live. It's just a good idea to do that. For our spring and summer, I believe we're going to delve into that a little more. We're probably going to look around for some more local shows with some of our, you know, regulars, like, you know, the Kill Bettys and Anoxias and Carbon Stones of the world that we like playing with.
Yeah, all good bands, man.
Shout out to those guys. You know, it is going to be a big piece of our time, is that we're going to be working very hard on recording the second half of this album. The way that I look at it is that this is one album and it's two parts of the same album. Because we wrote all these songs, like, we write insanely fast. We write a lot of stuff, and we wrote all these songs, and it was like, all right, well, which ones are we going to record, though? And, you know, there's just so much happening. You know, our band is ever changing as far as, like, personally. We all have a lot going on.
Sure.
Mike is actually having a baby in April. Mike and his wife Jen are having a baby.
I was hoping there was a wife or a significant other. If Mike was having a baby, I'd have a real exclusive here. So. But
Dave popped one out last year.
Yeah. Still couldn't get the weight off.
Carried that baby weight.
We're going to do a lot of work on recording, and we're going to try to make sure when we do get out, we're delivering the best show possible.
Hey, well, you guys always do, man. We've seen you a bunch of times, and, you know, Mid-Atlantic Rock Reviews and Marr Rock Show is eternally grateful for you guys being part of our first MDA benefit. It was just, I mean this seriously, it was an honor to have you guys there, and we've got our next one.
We
man.
appreciated being there, you know.
And it was just, I'm forever grateful to all the bands that took part of that, and we've got another one going on in Delaware this year, and maybe down the road one further north, but we're going to move them around. But anyway, I'm just really glad you guys were a part of that. And we always enjoy seeing you guys live. So, hey, listeners, this is Ashes to Embers, and they are out of Baltimore, and I want to thank them for being on the show tonight. Their new album is called I Will Not Go Quietly, Part 1. The new song is called Pins and Needles. And, guys, where do you want people to go to find your music?
If people go to our website at ashes2embers.com, it has links to all of our social media pages. It has links to our Reverb Nation, which has all kinds of free music on it. There is free music on ashes2embers.com, and they can link them also to our Facebook page, where they can not only like us and follow us, but they can also listen to more music there.
So that is ashes2embers.com. Guys, thanks so much for being on the show tonight.
No problem. Thanks
Thank
for
you
having
very
us.
much.